So as promised, I'm going to give you a few resources you can use to learn about your elected officials before you come to Washington, D.C. And the nice thing is that they're all accessible from District Dispatch, which is districtdispatch.org, the page for the ALA Washington office. Now, when you get to this page, which I know you all have probably been on a dozen times, you scroll over the Take Action link and you click on Contact Congress. And what we're doing here is we're making sure that you know who your elected officials are that represent either where you live, where your library is, or where you serve people. And you may already know that, and that's great, but I always suggest double checking because they do change even in the middle of a congressional session. Now, I'm going to look at one that I know is a single legislator district because this is my mom's district. It's pretty rural. So I know that just that we don't have to put in the full address to get the actual elected official. So sometimes you put in your zip code and it will ask you for a full street address just because legislative districts don't break across zip code lines. So we're going to use Mr. LaMalfa as an example. He is the House member who represents that area. And when you go onto this site, you'll be able to get to some biographical information right away. So you'll see you've got information about the hometown and education, previous positions, etc. When you click on the House link, you'll get to the website. And every legislator's website is going to look different. Often they'll have a pop-up that asks you to sign up for their newsletter. And there's a couple things that when you get to the site, I really suggest you take a look at. One is issues. And even if it's not library-related issues, it's a good idea to read through them because it will give you a really strong sense of how they see the world, what kinds of language they like to use, which will help you frame your arguments. So, for example, if you're talking to a really conservative legislator, you might start with some different arguments than you would when talking with a more liberal one. I also suggest you take a look at the About tab. They'll probably have a little bit more biographical information about the legislator. And often under something called legislation, or sometimes it's under the About tab, you can find their committees and caucuses. Looking at that is really important because it tells you something about their district and what they tend to focus on. Although in this case, you see he's wearing a cowboy hat, so probably pretty clear what he focuses on. But this is verified by his committee assignments. He's on agriculture and natural resources. So in his case, you might talk about the impact of libraries in rural communities, which he would probably be more interested in than some of the urban arguments. And I don't want to say that's always the case, but just something to check out. I also think that you should look in the media center, take a look at their recent press releases. That will tell you some of the things that they're working on currently and what some of the things are that they're most interested in. Now you can do the same thing for the Senate, which is at senate.gov. And there you'll just scroll over the Senator's link. You can even find that from, again, the District Dispatch page. When you put in your zip code, you can go back and you can see who your senators are, and it will take you to their pages as well, and it's a similar process. Now, I also suggest that you take a look at their social media pages. So Facebook and Twitter and YouTube are usually the biggest ones, and especially their Facebook page because they'll post recent information, current information about what they're working on. So when you go to Mr. LaMalfa's page, and I wanted to put this in here like this, you'll see often that there's something that will ask you to start following that legislator. And, you can do that. I think sometimes that's a good idea, at least from your personal Facebook account, because you can kind of stay up to speed on what he or she is working on. And, don't worry about hitting the like button. You don't have to actually like them, but it does keep you up to speed on their current activities. The other nice thing about Facebook is that not a lot of people tend to comment on these various posts. Definitely less than what you would get in terms of sending emails, etc. So if you have something to say and you want to say it positively, then I would definitely post a positive comment. Another example would be Mr. LaMalfa had a town hall meeting in the last week. So, even a comment that says, thank you so much for meeting with your constituents, we're eager to meet with you as well, and, you can use our library space or something along those lines. That will capture the attention of someone in the office. They never get positive communications. So if you're able to send a positive comment, that's great. And you can also use this to contact the legislators and let them know that you'll be coming to Washington, D.C. Twitter is also a great resource for doing that. So basically, my strongest suggestions here, the research to get ready to come to Washington, D.C., go to District Dispatch, find your specific legislators of where you work and where you live and where you serve people. Go to their websites, find their committee assignments, find their issue statements, find some of their press releases, read through there, and then take a look at their social media pages. And if you do this, I promise you will be more prepared than 95% of the people who come to Washington, D.C. So thank you so much for listening. I hope this is useful, and we look forward to seeing you in D.C. as you go forth and advocate. Thanks.